suck at driving. Ugh. Hey, what's up, guys? This is our second episode of gluten-free chicken. Yay! And I have a cold, so welcome to spring. Spring cold. We got Ash with us today, going up to the HyVee, getting some tea or coffee. I don't know. I think he's a coffee drinker. We're going to talk a little bit about music and how we got started. And if you haven't been to a HyVee, let me tell you, they're awesome. We're just going to hang out and walk around the HyVee, drink some coffee, and just chat about stuff. This is Gluten-Free Chicken, episode number 2. Yeah.
Very often used to go to church on like Saturday afternoon, 5:30 to 6:30 or 4:30 to 5:30, whatever it was. We used to come here and they had incredible Chinese food. Like, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean they have a bar here at this one. Can I get a chai, tea? What are my choices again?
Okay.
The Pike place sounds good.
All right. Any room for cream?
A little bit.
All right.
Starbucks.
Gotta love chai tea, especially when you do Tai Chi. She thought it was funny.
Still early.
Yeah, let's take a walk around. I've never enjoyed a grocery store except for this one.
They do it right. It's very similar to what I grew up with. Only this is even cooler. So.
What denomination were you? Like you said, Catholic. You went to church.
Catholic. Yeah, my mom still is. A pretty spiritual kind of dude, and
I didn't know that about you.
But I'm not really gaudy.
I think when you're raised in a faith, it's tough to just get rid of that. I think Laura and I are always searching for spirituality in some way. This is the business we got to get into, man. It's like, how easy is it to make? How much is this? $5, 10 cents worth of Indonesian child labor.
Exactly. I'm a poor dude and I shop at H&M and stuff. But
I always love H&M, but their clothes never fit me. I'm too big.
They barely fit me, and I'm a shorty.
Did you do Easter baskets as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Did your parents hide them?
They didn't hide the baskets.
My ex, she grew up like that, so she did that with the kids, where she'd hide the physical baskets. We did the Easter eggs, hide them around the house.
Right,
so my parents would hide those around the house. So I still do that with the kids.
And real eggs or plastic ones?
I think they were just the plastic.
I've known a couple people who it was a legit egg hunt, and I'm like, that seems dangerous to be like, did we get them all?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
You'll find out.
Yeah, no, my parents used to hide the basket.
What is
Is
that
yeah.
a Minnesota thing? What is that?
You never know, that might be one of those
I never even heard of goose until I met some of you people.
No.
Minnesotans.
We do duck, great.
So you're the great duck guy.
No,
yeah,
it's
I'm
Laura.
with you.
It's the Sodakians that do the goose, and I'm like, wait, where's there a goose here? Like the whole point is you're the outstanding duck, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the gray duck, and it makes sense.
Well, I hate on gooses, goose eye.
What are those called? But yeah, that's the plural of gooses, geese.
Yeah.
One of the things I have to do is I have to start saying the note of the string that I'm playing. Because I see you do it all the time. You're like A natural, C or whatever, and I'm like,
I didn't do it when I was learning, especially on the violin. I did because it's just part of the instrument. But especially with guitar, I would just learn everything by shapes.
Right, you're just this is the shape that I make.
You only
my
learn
hand.
so far. You're not really learning much more than a shape. You're not.
And it's hard to communicate shapes to other people.
Yeah, especially if they're singing or they're playing trumpet. It's like, okay, I know what you're talking about. I'll play the first fret. Oh, it's like, yeah, man.
Isn't it fun, dude? It's not an electric or anything, but yeah, she was just like, hey, here you go. Do you want a mandolin? And I was like, I will take any musical instrument anyone will give me. To anybody watching this episode, that's an open invitation. Just send your musical instruments to me. I'll take them all.
That's how I learned how to play guitar. Honestly, it wasn't forced on me. I had already played violin, and I'd go over to my grandma and grandpa's place, and there was just this guitar sitting on the wall, and I'm like, and then they'd all be partying and hanging out, and I'd just go over and sit down and play it, and before you knew it, I needed to have one. So
my grandmother had a piano in her dining room, and the second I went over there and played that thing. you know, and it was all by, you know, feel and sound of just like, oh, these two things go together.
That's what I tell everybody. It's like, it doesn't require a whole, you know, the curve is very little. You just have to have a finger and press it down, and you can start making music.
You can start making music. Like, do you remember when you first started playing violin?
I learned it just through the school system and however they did it. So yeah, I just rented some violin or used whatever they had at school. And
why did you choose violin?
You know, it was just one of those things that I really didn't know that I had an interest in it until the lady came around. Okay, well, you guys can take orchestra this year if you want. Not even thinking anything of it. Then she starts playing. And I'm like, oh man, what the hell is that? I really like the sound of the viola first. My mom will attest that I was like really sprung on playing the viola, and then she kind of talked me out of it. Like the violin's more of the star of the orchestra, which it kind of is.
What was it about the viola that you liked?
Maybe just the timbre, like the range. I think maybe for me at the time, the big cello and bass maybe sounded too deep. Maybe I wasn't liking that, and maybe the violin was too shrill and high, and I just like that middle ground of the viola, just a little bit in between the cello and the bass, cello and the violin.
That's like I say, the first time I picked up a violin, I was like, they shriek, and I was like, nope.
You're gonna make a shriek on the violin no matter what. It doesn't even sound like music at first. That's why they teach you plucking first. Ding, 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 ding. Sometimes they teach you to do it in a guitar position on the violin.
Do you know what my first guitar was? Do you know who Huey Lewis is?
Of course.
Huey Lewis had a guitar made out of a wooden toilet seat. My parents got me guitar lessons, and the only guitar they had was this guitar sitting up on the wall in the bar that Dan owned. You know, whatever reason, I think financial, it was the only guitar available to me, signed by Huey Lewis too. And they were like, sure kid, take that. So on my bicycle, I strapped this toilet seat guitar to my back and biked at least 2 miles to Eclipse Music in West St. Paul. And I show up, and the dude, the guitar teacher or whatever, I'll never forget, he's like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a toilet seat guitar. It's the only thing I have, you know? And that was my first, I learned on that guitar. It was the most awkward wooden toilet seat. So, did you play any other instruments through high school? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I learned the guitar when I was like 14, 15. Just self-taught from playing just by ear. So weirdly enough, my uncle who passed away, he had this telly, left-handed telly. He's a lefty. And that's what I learned to play on over my grandma's place. We'd go there on Friday nights. And so I learned how to play upside down. To sit there.
Can you still play left-handed guitar?
Oh, heck no.
Okay.
I did this, though. This is how I learned how to play. I sit there, and so this was like, I had no experience with guitar, so this was like just like learning, like a right-handed person learning on the right-handed guitar for the first time. It didn't sit with me any weird or different. I just tried it, and I can't even do it. Oh my gosh, this is really wacky. It hurts, and now I know what my students are always complaining about. I can't do it. I did.
All right, let's see if you can play it on a right-handed guitar then.
Isn't that weird?
Just like. Oh, the dog's like, no stairway.
Nice.
Oh my god. Is that the instrument you play, Hondo?
Making fun of that, or you learn about somebody, I'll just never forget it. We heard about a guy that was selling an electric guitar, this white Ibanez with a gorilla. And I played it for years and years. Well, that was Ash St. John, our lovely violin / guitar player / music aficionado. Had fun walking around with him, getting some tea, talking about his life. Didn't really find an opportunity for a random act of kindness. A lot harder than you think. I think in next week's episode we'll do double. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys, and we'll see you next week.